crazy. Joao Pedro has only been with Chelsea for a week, but he's already become a star in the Club World Cup. In the semi-final against Fluminense, the 23-year-old striker scored 2 beautiful goals that sent the Blues to the final, and the crowd was immediately captivated. Having just made his first competitive start, Pedro immediately showed his class. The first goal? A curling shot from outside the penalty box that left the Fluminense goalkeeper speechless. The second, a quick counterattack, a cool finish, and Chelsea secured their place in the final. Gareth Bale said it was an incredible performance. The link-up play, the vision, everything was perfect. He's come to a big team and clicked straight away. Meanwhile, Callum Wilson added, Joao Pedro clicked straight away, and these 2 goals will boost his confidence like crazy. And now, the final is just around the corner. Chelsea will face one of the giants, Real Madrid or PSG. The final will be held on Sunday, July 13th at MetLife Stadium, and Joao Pedro is ready to make the difference. Do you think Joao Pedro deserves to be Chelsea's main striker next season?
Bad news, Chelsea have just secured their ticket to the Club World Cup final, but bad news immediately came. Moises Caicedo was injured in the final minutes of the match. Enzo Maresca was immediately worried because the mainstay midfielder had to be withdrawn after experiencing an ankle problem while trying to win the ball from a Fluminense player. Joao Pedro was indeed the main star with 2 beautiful goals on his full debut, but the thought of Caicedo's absence from the final match could be a big blow. The midfielder from Ecuador returned to the field after treatment, but was eventually withdrawn again because he felt the pain was getting worse. Chelsea had to play with 10 men for the rest of the match. Enzo Maresca said in a post-match press conference, Moi felt he could continue, but the pain is getting worse. Hopefully, he can recover in time for the final on Sunday. Chelsea are scheduled to face the winner of the duel between Real Madrid and PSG in the final match. And with the tight midfield of the 2 giants, Caicedo's absence could be a big loss for the Blues. Moreover, this is the first edition of the Club World Cup with a 32-team format. This trophy is going to be historic. Joao Pedro may shine, but all eyes are now on Caicedo's recovery. If he's out, Maresca will have to completely overhaul their midfield, and this is definitely not an ideal time. Do you think Chelsea can still win the title if Caicedo is out?
Joao Pedro truly made his mark in the Club World Cup semifinals. His 2 goals against Fluminense immediately propelled Chelsea into the final and made him the star of the night. But even more astonishing, former Chelsea captain Thiago Silva immediately spoke out, and not with criticism, but with emotional praise. This kid is special. Silva, who now plays for Fluminense, admitted to having long observed Joao's talent. He even recommended Pedro to his personal physiotherapist, believing the youngster would become a superstar. And that night at MetLife Stadium, everything he said proved true. Joao Pedro opened the scoring with a magnificent long-range shot, then doubled the lead with a clinical finish in the second half. Interestingly, he resisted celebration out of respect for his former club, Fluminense. He's a special kid. I played against him when I was at Watford. He really has something different, Silva said, proudly, despite the defeat. Joao Pedro's story was just beginning, but tonight he was already a legend. And when Thiago Silva calls you special, that's no small compliment. Do you think Joao Pedro deserves to be Chelsea's first-choice starter this season? Joao Pedro made an instant impact on his debut. 2 beautiful goals against Fluminense, and Chelsea advanced to the Club World Cup final. But amidst all the attention, one name began to fade: Nicholas Jackson. John Obi Mikel made no bones about it. Jackson is now only a 3rd-choice striker. After being the sole pillar of the front line last season, his position has now been replaced by Delep and Joao Pedro. Delep scored in the first match against ES Tunis, while Pedro put in a superb performance as his first start, even scoring a brace that brought fans to their feet. Ironically, Jackson, who came on as a substitute, wasted a golden opportunity and was even scolded by Cole Palmer for refusing to pass, a moment that further complicated his position in the Maresca squad. Mikel said this competition is a good thing for a club as big as Chelsea. 3 good strikers are competing for one position, but if Jackson wants to stay, he needs to reflect on his discipline and motivation. At a young age, Jackson still has time to turn things around, but in a team with expectations as high as Chelsea's, one bad moment could mean losing his place, especially since he seems to have instantly adapted to Maresca's system. The question now is, will Jackson be able to bounce back and reclaim his place, or will he be permanently sidelined? Do you think Jackson still deserves to be Chelsea's main striker?
Crazy! Chelsea officially advanced to the 2025 Club World Cup final after defeating Fluminense 2-0, thanks to a brilliant brace from Joao Pedro. And Enzo Maresca, he couldn't hide his pride. This was no ordinary victory. This was history. This Club World Cup was the first with 32 of the world's best teams, and Chelsea was the only English representative to reach the final. Joao Pedro's 2 goals in his full debut at Stamford Bridge sent a frenzy of excitement. From being an old boy from Fluminense, he's now a Chelsea hero. Maresca said directly, "We're proud. This is a tournament featuring the best clubs in the world, and we're in the final." He also praised Pedro, who he considered had the quality to change the course of a match, especially against teams that defend deep. However, behind the euphoria, there was one major concern. Moises Caicedo was injured in the final minutes. He tried to stay on the pitch, but ultimately gave up and had to be taken off. This ankle injury came at the worst possible time. Moreover, Dario Esugo is also confirmed to be absent due to a training injury. Chelsea now awaits their opponent, PSG or Real Madrid, 2 Champions League winners in the last 2 seasons. The one thing is clear, Maresca believes his squad deserves to be here and is ready to fight for the world title. Do you think with Caicedo injured, can Chelsea beat Madrid or PSG in the final?
Jamie Gittens is officially a Chelsea player, but make no mistake, while this transfer has fans excited, many are starting to wonder, was this the right purchase? Former Blues player Glenn Johnson openly called Gittens a risk worth taking. He said, "Players from outside the Premier League often struggle to adapt to the intensity and pace of the league, but that's precisely where the challenge lies." Gittens is no stranger to Chelsea. He studied at the club's academy before moving to Borussia Dortmund. 4 seasons in Germany, 17 goals and 14 assists. Not bad records. But what's most interesting is his mentality. In an official interview after signing his contract, Gittens said, "I left England as a kid and came back as a man." He spoke about living on my own since the age of 14, being stuck in lockdown, suffering a long-term injury and having to learn to survive in a foreign country. This isn't just about statistics, it's about character. Chelsea are willing to pay £50 million for a player in his 20s. Risk? Definitely. But in this era of crazy transfers, courage can sometimes make the difference. Gittens has technique, speed, and European experience. It's just a matter of how Maresca polishes it. Do you think Jamie Gittens will be a successful signing or just too expensive a risk?